Most Albertans, we shudder at the prospect of a return to 4 more years of living under an NDP government. A number of factors led to that disastrous election in 2015. I mean, there was mistrust, bad campaigns, and of course, a divided conservative movement. With the Wildrose Party and the Progressive Conservatives battling each other throughout the campaign, it allowed the NDP to slide up the middle and win a majority government. So, it took a lot of compromise and a lot of work. But the factionalized Conservatives of Alberta managed to pull it together under a united banner with the UCP in time for the 2019 election. And with a single Conservative option to look at, voters happily tossed the NDP to the curb and gave the UCP a solid majority. And Jason Kenney deserves full credit for pulling all of that off. He was integral. He had the vision and he got it together. Now, though, Jason Kenney could be the one who fractures the movement all over again as he wades into the leadership race for the UCP. It was unprecedented as is, for Kenney to remain on as a party leader as the race was held. I mean, that was already odd. Party leaders have been known to stay on after announcing their resignations, but that's usually when the leader's willingly choosing to resign, on their own terms. When the leader's been tossed out by their own members, as Kenney had been, they tend to move on into the background after that. Well, whether it's an interim leader or an outcoming incumbent, it's usually recognized that the leader stays out of the leadership race. They certainly hold their views, but they keep it to themselves. Kenney has broken that convention now, though, as he went on a tirade about Danielle Smith's proposed Sovereignty Act. Kenney did this on a weekly radio show where he's supposed to be speaking as the premier. If it's going to turn into a platform for the leadership race, maybe it's time for that show to come to an end as well. The Sovereignty Act now, that's the main plank of Smith's campaign. And in light of her apparent status as the front runner of the race, I'd safe to say the proposal appeals to many, if not most, of the members at this point. And whether or not it's workable or desirable will be determined by the members. If they select Smith, it would then head to the legislature for debate. Then it can be embraced, amended, or scrapped by our elected officials. Kenney still doesn't understand that his tough talk and weak actions when it came to dealing with Ottawa is what led to his ouster from the party in the first place. Members have had it with limp-wristed reactions to federal overreach, and Smith has offered them a lifeline. Members wanted to see anything that the province can do to stand up to Ottawa. They're frustrated to the point where it doesn't matter if it's legally viable. They're ready to go on the offensive with a hostile federal government after years of failed defensive actions. And the Sovereignty Act offers a possible tool for that. If the Sovereignty Act fails, well, true secessionism is really going to rise as people are going to feel they're out of options. Maybe Smith's proposals were irresponsible. Maybe other candidates have better plans. Whatever the case may be, though, having the outgoing premier weighing in right now is fostering new divisions in a party that desperately needs to maintain unity. Leadership races can usually be heated and divisive. If they're held responsibly, though, they don't need to lead to the fracturing of the party. It was no secret that Kenney and the establishment in the party support Travis Taves in the leadership. Again, though, Kenney should have been keeping it to himself. With such heated rhetoric coming from the outgoing leaders, supporters of Taves and Smith are going to be more deeply entrenched in their views and taking them more personally than ever. Now, no matter what candidate wins, it's going to be all the more difficult for them to consolidate their leadership and unite the members in time for a general election that's less than a year away. The UCP right now is lucky. There's no alternative Conservative parties well established right now. The Wildrose Independence Party is ripping themselves apart with infighting and won't be in any position to seriously contest the next election. And the other registered Conservative-leaning parties really are unheard of. This can't be taken for granted, though. 7 months is an eternity in politics, and a lot can change by election time. I can't see a new entity winning the next election, but one could manage to cause enough division to lead to another Notley term in office. Kenney's no novice political operator. He knew how serious it would be if he stepped into the leadership race. One has to start wondering at this point, does Kenney have the best interests of the province and the party in mind right now? Or is he just hoping that nobody will succeed where he failed? We're heading for some hard economic times. The last thing Alberta needs is to sink into another 4 years of high-spending socialism under Notley. I'd hoped Kenney could go out with dignity. It doesn't look that way, and that hope's fading. And we all could be paying the price for it.